Next we are going to start with components of pond ecosystem. We had discussed about biotic components and abiotic components, and that is what the components which are present in the pond ecosystem. Let me see. Pond ecosystem is a sustainable shallow water body in which productivity, decomposition, energy flow and also the nutrient cycling are well exhibited like in any other ecosystem. Not only in pond ecosystem, the recycling or decomposition or flow of energy will take place in all type of ecosystems. But what the advantage of the pond ecosystem is, all these activities, what we said, productivity, decomposition, energy flow and recycling, nutrient cycling, all this will be exhibited very well comparatively to the other ecosystems. The abiotic component in the water are dissolved organic, inorganic substances and rich soil is deposited in the bottom of the pond ecosystem. Dissolved organic substances and inorganic substances will be in the form of dissolved condition in pond ecosystem. But compared to any other terrestrial ecosystem, these organic substances or inorganic substances will be in other states. Either it will be in the form of solids or any like pellets. But when we see in pond ecosystem, these organic and inorganic substances will be in the dissolved condition, and a very rich soil will be deposited in the bottom of the pond ecosystem. Solar input, cycle of temperature, day length and many other climatic conditions will regulate the rate of function of the entire pond ecosystem. The functioning of the ecosystem will not be depending on any one particular factor. Instead, the function of the pond ecosystem or any other ecosystem, it will be depending on various factors. As we mentioned, sunlight, temperature, day length, like this. All these factors are involving in the functioning of the ecosystem. The autotrophs includes phytoplanktons, some algae, some floating submerged and marginal plants found at the edges that convert inorganic into organic material with the help of radiant energy of the sun. The point is so clear. Many of the autotrophs, which are considered as the phytoplanktons, these phytoplanktons are nothing but the aquatic plants or some of the algae which are present in the pond ecosystem. They are the major producers. Some floating or some submerged and many might be the marginal which are present in the edges of the pond ecosystem. What is some are floating? That means in an aquatic, that is pond ecosystem, many of the phytoplanktons or many of the green plants will be in the floating condition. Many of the aquatic plants will be floating on the water surface, and some of the aquatic plants will be at the bottom condition, or they also may be submerged. That means they are completely within the water. They are nothing but the submerged plants. And some will be present in the marginal, that is in the bank or the marginal or the edges of the pond ecosystem. and all the plants, either it may be submerged or floating, or it may be present in the margins of the pond ecosystem, all are considered as the autotrophs or the producers, and all are involving in conversion of the inorganic substances into organic materials with the help of radiant energy of the sun. That means they are receiving the sunlight, and with the help of sunlight they are converting inorganic substances into organic material. The consumers are zooplanktons. Zooplanktons are nothing but the living organisms. We used the word consumers for zooplanktons. That means consumers are nothing but the organisms which are depending on the other organisms for the purpose of nutrition. Such organisms are called as consumers. Here the zooplanktons, that means the animals or any other microbes or any other the aquatic organisms that are present in the pond ecosystem, all those organisms are considered as the consumers. They might be free living, or they may be present, or they may be living in the bottom of the pond, bottom dwelling forms that consumes the autotrophs. That means all these consumers, that is zooplanktons, are depending on the producers. They are nothing but the autotrophic plants or the algae. The decomposers, this is the another type of organisms. For example, they may be fungi, bacteria, flagellates, are abundant in the bottom of the pond. If this is a pond, at the bottom surface of the pond ecosystem, there is a presence of huge amount of decomposers. Decomposers may be fungi or bacteria or flagellates or many of the microscopic bacteria. They are abundant. That means they are rich in the bottom of the pond ecosystem, which carry out the decomposition. Decomposition is nothing but they will be functioning for the purpose of decaying the organic materials which are present in the pond ecosystem. It may be the dead organisms of the pond ecosystem or dead phytoplanktons. All these dead substances are decayed by the decomposers. These decomposers will carry out the decomposition and mineralization of dead matter to release them back for reuse by the autotrophs. It is a very beautiful process. After the decay or after completing the process of decomposition, mineralization, that means what? The inorganic substances are converted into organic substances, and those organic substances after decaying, they are released in the form of minerals into the pond ecosystem. And again, those minerals which are released from the dead matters, they are taken back or they are reused by the autotroph. This is nothing but a cyclic process which takes place in the pond ecosystem. Next, we shall see ecosystem functions. A number of delicately balanced and controlled process occurs in every ecosystem. Not only in pond ecosystem, all type of ecosystem, there will be a controlled process will be taking place or that will be going on. Which are those? The function aspects of ecosystem are, the first thing is productivity. Whatever we are using the functions here, all these functions are seen or observed in all that may be terrestrial or aquatic or any man-made ecosystem, or in all the type of ecosystem, we can come across these functions. The first one is productivity, the second one is decomposition, third one is energy flow, and fourth one is nutrient cycle. Now we shall take the first function of the ecosystem, that is productivity. What is productivity? The rate of synthesis of biomass or the organic matter at any trophic levels in a given period of time is called as productivity. It's very clear and easy. That is, productivity means the rate of synthesis. The rate of synthesis of biomass, or also we can tell it as, it is nothing but the rate of synthesis of organic matter at any trophic level in a given period of time is called as productivity. The productivity is measured as weight, gram per meter square per year. As we said, it is for a given period of time. We have taken per year like this, or it can also be measured in the form of energy, that is kilocalorie per meter cube per year, like this. The study of productivity, the study of production of biomass by the living organism is called as productivity ecology. So what we can say, productivity ecology is nothing but the branch of ecology which deals with the study of the production of biomass by the living organisms, and that branch of ecology we can call it as productivity ecology. Next, we have taken as productivity of ecosystem is of two types. First of all, we said productivity is nothing but one of the function of the ecosystem. Now we are seeing the different types of productivity. There are two different types of productivity, such as the first one is primary productivity and the second one is the secondary productivity. First one is primary productivity. What is primary productivity? It is the amount of organic matter produced by the producers. It is very clear. Primary productivity. Productivity is nothing but synthesis of the organic matter in a organic matter by the organisms within a period of time. But here primary productivity, we are using the word primary. That means the amount of organic matter produced by the producers. Wherever the word primary comes, we can say that all that primary will be stands for the producers. The total amount of organic matter produced by the producers is called as primary productivity. The primary productivity is of further classified into two different types, such as the first one is GPP, which stands for gross primary productivity, and the next one is NPP, net primary productivity. Under primary productivity, we classified into two, that is GPP and NPP. Let me see one by one. The first one is gross primary productivity. Gross. The gross is nothing but the total amount of organic matter produced by the producers per unit area, per unit time. We call it as the gross primary productivity by the photosynthesis. We are taking it as by the photosynthesis. I am repeating, gross is nothing but total. Gross primary productivity or GPP can be defined as the total amount of organic matter produced by the producers per unit area in per unit time by the photosynthesis process. We call it as gross primary productivity. The second one is net primary productivity. That is nothing but NPP. What is net primary productivity? The considerable amount of gross primary productivity is utilized by the plants during respiration, during its metabolic activity, and that we call it as net primary productivity. After taking the example after seeing the calculation formula, we can understand still easier about the net primary productivity. I am repeating, a considerable amount, the amount of gross primary productivity, gross is nothing but total, the considerable amount of gross primary productivity is utilized by the plant during respiration, that is called as NPP. GPP minus respiration losses is called as NPP. How the NPP can be calculated? It is nothing but gross primary productivity. Gross means total. The complete total organic matter produced by the producer. The complete total organic matter produced by the producer in a per unit area, in per unit time is GPP. So that we have taken the gross. Now minus respiration, that means the amount of organic matter which is utilized by the producer during the time of respiration. What is the amount of organic matter utilized by the producer during the time of respiration? When we minus this from the gross primary productivity, we are going to get the net primary productivity. That means what we can say, net primary productivity is nothing but the remained amount of organic matter after the completion of process of respiration, and that is what we can consider as NPP or net primary productivity. Next, the NPP of the whole biosphere is approximately 170 billion tons of organic matter. The productivity of the ocean is only 55 billion tons despite occupying about 70% of the surface of the ocean. Next, the productivity of the land is 115 billion tons can be seen. In the next, we shall discuss about the second type of productivity, that is secondary productivity. What is secondary productivity? The secondary productivity, it is the amount of organic matter or biomass produced by the consumers in a given period of time. We call it as secondary productivity. We said that primary productivity means the amount of organic matter produced by the producers is called as primary productivity. Secondary productivity means the amount of organic matter or the biomass produced by the consumers produced by the consumers in a given period of time is called as secondary productivity.